by the powerful and the 1% is no different from an infraction of the law by the poor little black youths in Mova and Laventille. The time when they received the keys to the city and license to mash up the place, that time is over.
TNTX says an attempted act of vandalism at its Brechin Castle substation caused a significant voltage dip experience across part of the country yesterday. According to the commission, an intruder entered the substation and came into contact with a breaker, causing a fault in the system. TNTX said the national electricity grid remained stable and widespread outages were avoided because protective mechanisms operated as designed. Security footage showed the suspect receiving an electric shock before fleeing the scene. He was later apprehended and taken for medical treatment for severe burns. The office of the president is celebrating the 150th anniversary of President's House and the 50th anniversary of Trinidad and Tobago becoming a republic. It began yesterday with an interfaith Thanksgiving service marking the launch of a year-long commemoration. President Christine Kanglu used the ceremony to honor past and present staff of the Office of the President, describing them as the unseen force behind the institution's success. Honorees included former and current aide-de-camp, secretaries, controllers of household, and other members of staff. Awards recognized service ranging from 10 years to more than 3 decades.
You have served people. You have served human beings who happen for a period of time to live under the weight and responsibility of national office. You have helped presidents and their families to feel secure, settled, respected, and cared for. You have made difficult lives easier. You have made public service more possible. That is why today matters. It matters because service that takes place in silence must not disappear into silence.
And that's a look at the headlines so far. Stay tuned for another update at the top of the hour.
Good Thursday morning, Trinidad and Tobago. JW signing on today, Thursday, the 11th of June, 2026. As a matter of fact, very overcast and wet here in the city. We woke up this morning to lots of rain. A matter of fact, Sigoni would have mentioned that last evening via the weather update. So it's going to be a wet one. And I can safely say for those who love their football, well, today is the day. World Cup 2026. Woo-hoo-hoo! You got to do your football dance. That is right. That is it. And of course, basketball in the air. What a comeback from the New York Knicks last night. But indeed, we treat with some of the major local stories. Definitely SOE and, well, you see, football time. Of course, a man is being charged for Mercedes murder and a couple of other pressing matters here. We're going to treat with this morning. JW in the company until 7:30. Ian steps in for that in-depth dive with sport for the morning shot. Sit back, relax, enjoy. Let's get the ball rolling for this, your morning brew. Running in today, oh yes, World Cup 2026. Let me put away all credentials here and get the ball rolling. JW signing on. I have the schedule and I'll let you know what's happening every single day as we prepare for the greatest show. Billions, the game of billions. Many looking forward. They're going to sit back, relax, and take in all these different games. Games at some really weird hours too, some really late games. So we'll let you know what's happening in that regard. But right now, we go through our news cycle. As always, we are guided here by the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. And, you know, yesterday, I don't know, probably the AG was listening to my commentary, and even more so when we had Garvin Hero coming on the program. He also would have mentioned that push to go after the white-collar criminals, those who rob us with the pen. Yes, the AG says, big fish, beware. AG threatens to lock up white-collar criminals while maintaining UNC has better record of reducing crime compared to the PNM. And that's the Attorney General there on his feet yesterday during the SOE debate. Of course, the opposition rejects SOE extension, calls for a workable anti-crime plan. All those stories and more inside today's Guardian on page 5. Also on the matters of crime and criminality, yes, you're seeing the opposition chief whip. And they went back and forth. This was a long one yesterday, a lengthy session. And by all means, I think based on the majority, we would have said it yesterday. Yes, I believe democracy must take its course and you will have the arguments back and forth, but based on the numbers alone, I think it's more or less a foregone conclusion. We more than likely, I mean, things are subject to change, but I think at this moment, from the outside looking in, it's safe to say that extension more or less would go through. We'll see how things pan out. We, as always, give assessments. We have the analysis. We hear from the talking heads, the experts, and we allow conversation to take its natural course here on the program. Next week, I know it's going to shift towards the mid-year budget review. So lots of, I anticipate discussions on the economy and where we are going and how we are going to balance the books and balance the boat. This boat called Trinidad and Tobago. That discussion I anticipate will take a full prominence in next week's, probably the Monday, Tuesday, even up to Wednesday, even Thursday. I'm sure all of next week we'll have analysis on that mid-year budget review. I'm also seeing here via the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, a man, he's been charged. His name is Richard Renales. That story on page 8, this is in connection with the killing of Mercedes. I mean, it really break my heart. You know, when you consider Carapal Nation, I don't know if all you can really understand how quiet and peaceful and loving this community is. You know, the Cabreras, the family there, that's a big family from Carapal. Lots of Cabreras, the last name, it's a name that is highly respected in the space. You know, certain family names down on that side get lots of, you know, there is a particular legacy here. You have the Cabreras, the Coutus, the Gervais, the Lings, the Barrows. You understand? I say these things at the rules of the tongue because it was part of a major part of my foundation, and I felt safe. And I look at it and I say, look how the times change. That's the thing me and my son always talk about. When I bring up certain things from the past, he says that times change. And I have to listen to him because he is part of the now generation, and his reality is totally different to mine. You could imagine, right? I used to travel. We would have left Komoto when I was like 6, thereabout, 6, 7. And we were living in Komoto at the time. We left Erin around that time. I just want to say this quick to give you a little idea as to how different the timing was. I used to travel from the age of around 8, 9, probably 9, 10, around 9, 10, 11, around there. I'll travel from Komoto. Mom, of course, I'll get the drop-off to the stand. I will go from Port of Spain, in some cases, not so much Curab. I think it was either Port of Spain. No, I was a little older, actually. Could have been 12. Could have been 12. I don't think I was so young. But nonetheless, I was probably around Mercedes' age, actually, thinking about it. And I would go Port of Spain, San Fernando, in the bus, San Fernando, Saparia to Erin. We're talking here 90s, huh? 90s. I traveling as a youth man, heading all the way down to Erin, next side of the country, you know. And I felt safe. And this really brings into account country areas, places like Toko, the Matlats of this world, the Icacas, the Cedras, the even Brazil, certain parts that there is that community and country living manzanilla. And the children on that side of the island will always be outside playing. They will jump in a PH. There is a particular trust in this space. And once stuff like this takes place, that trust is broken. So it is heartbreaking. And if you want to read more, of course, page 8 will give you some more details. And again, I say all week, rest in peace to young Mercedes Lane and condolences to her family. Let's head to the back page because, listen, it is a showtime. And it's so ironic. This kickoff for World Cup 2026. It is the exact same kickoff that transpired in 2010 when South Africa hosted the World Cup, and the first team they had to play was, guess who? Mexico. Of course, it's Mexico, Canada, and the USA. 3 countries hosting the world this time around, and the first game in Mexico, and guess who they're playing? South Africa. That game is happening today in Mexico City from 3 p.m. And then later on tonight, I'm seeing South Korea against Czech, the Czech Republic, it seems, yes. So that's the games for today. Of course, where are you going to be? I'll probably be glued in front of some screen somewhere and probably a nice liming spot to take it in. As to the predictions, I'm not really the best at predictions when it comes to the World Cup. Everyone who's there deserves to be there, and anything could happen. We have seen in time and time again, the football now, it's a different style, a different level, and everyone there could pull it off. It's who wants it on the day. But I know the pressure will be on the South Africans because the Mexicans will be in full voice, and you know their support is a strong support. They are very passionate, probably some of the most in the entire world when we consider football and support. I mean, come on, folks, they invented the Mexican wave. Every time we go to the stadium and ball, hey, is Mexico invent that? So Mexico today in Mexico City at home for a World Cup. 3rd time in their history hosting a World Cup too. 1970, don't forget, 1970 when Pele won with Brazil. 1986 with the legendary Maradona. And this time around, all these years after, to host it, not by themselves, but they could safely say, listen, we hosted 3 times. So good stuff. World Cup, it's in the air. Let's head to the brief. We are seeing here, President's House marks 150 years. Office built on decades of dedicated service from staff, says the President. So this is a beautiful article and a nice write-up inside the brief today. Up next, our Business Guardian breakdown. That's right. We get into that immediately. Anthony Wilson, he steps in to give details on this cover story and more. See you soon. Your Business Guardian recap is next.
Dry, irritated skin can make everyday life uncomfortable. For those with eczema, psoriasis, or sensitive, damaged skin, Manuka Derm is made with medical-grade Manuka honey, not regular honey, known for its soothing and healing properties. It helps calm, protect, and support skin recovery. Suitable for dry skin, skin tears, excoriations, and minor superficial wounds and burns. Manuka Derm, powered by Manuka honey. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Gaming Express Limited is a premium importer and retailer of the highest quality brand name electronics. We stock the widest range of PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Samsung, and Apple devices and accessories. Visit us at Shop 52, Level 2, Gulf City Mall in San Fernando, or contact us by phone or WhatsApp message at 687-7480 or 301-9797 or 798-1280. Like our Facebook and Instagram pages for updates on products and services. We are your one-stop, most convenient, most helpful, most caring community pharmacy. Our pharmaceutical services include dispensing medicines, repeat dispensing, clinical governance, but we also have a fully stocked convenience store featuring our refreshment aisle, grocery lane, personal care products, toys, pet supplies. We are most conveniently located out of the traffic, just 2 minutes off the highway in Heartland Plaza in Deba Chaguanas. Contact us on 220-8705 or 470-5938 and visit us soon.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order. Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chaguanas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
The fact that they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. So, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover. I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name.
About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth.
On sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I've been in Ghana since The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
The stories that are being covered are well detailed and you get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job on this speaking the truths, and you know they're challenging the government to make things better.
Me in particular, of recently, the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities, and I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
But The Guardian.
The Guardian?
Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian. The Guardian is my first choice.
Anthony Wilson joins me for our Business Guardian Breakdown. Anthony, great to see you. Welcome back. And I look forward to what's inside our Business Guardian for today, Thursday.
Good morning, Jason. Good morning to all of your viewers and listeners. Morning.
Good morning to you, Anthony. On this wet Thursday, let's go through what I'm seeing on the front page here. It says, Central Bank of TNT says TNT's growth moderating. Page 5, Andrea Perez-Sobas brings us the story. What's the takeaway, Anthony?
Yeah, okay, so the central bank, of course, being the institution that it is, has a grasp on what's happening in the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. And the central bank put out a significant paper last week in which it determined that the growth of Trinidad and Tobago is moderating, and it measured that by credit given to businesses and credit given to households. Some of those measurements are less than they were this time last year. So that's the basis on which the central bank is saying that the growth in the Trinidad and Tobago economy is slowing down. It's not, I think it's not at a critical level as yet, but it's certainly slowing down. And I think if you go to the supermarkets and the retail places in Trinidad and Tobago, one might find evidence of that for oneself.
Interesting. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm seeing in real time where lots of these retail outlets they are adjusting. There's a lot of shrinkage going on. Breaking down the product in a way so that people could, I guess they're adjusting to the times. We have not seen that really in these big chain supermarkets. You would get that by the parlor, by Miss Elsie and Uncle Boy by a corner shop. But we're seeing the big supermarkets doing such. So I guess lots of different adjustments happening based on the economic reality. I want to ask you.
The important thing is that people have to adjust to the changing times. I think that's an important point that needs to be made.
Yeah, indeed. And we are seeing changing times even when it comes to contracts. There was a point in time you submit your bid and that was it. Now you have to go through the OPR process and procurement and all that, and you asking a very important question. Will the OPR do the right thing? And you went on to ask an even deeper question concerning the Emirates, and that is the United Arab Emirates. We saw in real time where Minister Jolene John and others visited the UAE, and there is this talk of, I would say, coming together, as it were, establishing some kind of bilateral tie, major ties, and will they be involved in this revitalization project? Anthony, what's the takeaway here?
So let's go to the first part first, which is, will the OPR do the right thing? And that comes out of the government agencies issuing contracts to one company, 2 contracts to one company, and that is a contract to build houses in Corinth, just outside San Fernando. That went to company, and then so that contract came from Landmark TT, which is a new state enterprise. There's some questions about that contract. The OPR is looking into it. And then there was the other huge contract that the Housing Development Corporation, $3.4 billion, the Housing Development Corporation decided that this one company should have $1 billion of that. Both of those contracts are under investigation. What's interesting is that both of those contracts were tendered on a selective competitive basis. And the argument that I'm making is that the contracts for housing and for anything involving the government, large-scale projects involving state enterprises, I think my view is that those should be tendered based on open bidding, which is a request for proposals and then an assessment of those proposals by the state enterprise. The selective competitive bidding process, in my view, is not what it should be.
And really fast in the couple seconds that remain, what's the development with the Emirates? Are they part of the revitalization plan and strategy?
It seems so to me because Jolene John, Minister of Works and Infrastructure, our Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister, Sean Sobers, and Minister of Land and Legal Affairs, as he then was, Mr. Saddam Hussein, made a visit to the Emirates last November, maybe a fortnight after the revitalization blueprint was launched. And what's interesting is that a delegation from the Emirates made a return visit to Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm just asking whether the visit by Trinidad and Tobago ministers to the Emirates and then a reverse visit by Emirati ministers or delegation to Trinidad and Tobago, is that appropriate? I think it's for the Minister of Works and Infrastructure, Ms. Jolene John, to answer that question. Unfortunately, she has not made herself available to us in the last month or so.
Well, Anthony, keep us in the loop. Let's stay on top of that development, and we will touch base soon. As always, sincere thanks for being part of it this morning.
Thank you very much, Jason. All the best to you in the World Cup and otherwise.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you so much, Anthony Wilson there touching base. We want to transition from the Business Guardian conversation into the political landscape, and more so the state of emergency extension. Let's hear from political analyst Derek Ramsamouche. He joins me next.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
Hey, man. Where are you? Okay. He said 5 minutes. Anyone want dessert? Maybe he's stuck at the office?
Surprise!
Not yet, Carl.
Bro, I'm literally at the altar right now.
Relax.
I'm almost there.
We're like the friend who isn't always late.
You have the rings.
CG United. Good like that.
The detergent smells nice while washing, but when you use the new Downy Intense fabric softener, with its new multi-capsule fragrance, it releases an intense scent that lasts twice as long. With the new Downy Intense, you'll enjoy a rich and delightful fragrance that keeps you feeling fresh 24/7.
Looking for the ultimate gaming experience? Welcome to Phase 22 Gaming Lounge, where gamers of all ages come to play, compete, and have fun. Dive into your favorite games on PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, or race on our high-tech racing rigs. And experience the thrill of VR with PlayStation and Meta Quest. Our lounge is safe, comfortable, and perfect for everyone. When you're done, check out the latest gaming systems, accessories, and even Samsung and Apple phones. Visit us on the second floor of Gulf City Mall or call 786-2404 to book your gaming session today.
Discover the taste of tradition with Fine Choice Meats. Our products are made with locally grown chickens, raised on a healthy low-fat diet with no added hormones or steroids. Our commitment to quality guarantees a delicious and nourishing culinary journey. From our farms to your family, choose Fine Choice Meats.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
The question is, be it resolved that the proclamation made by the President on the 2nd of March 2026, declaring that a state of public emergency exists in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, with effect from 3rd March 2026, be extended for a further period of 3 months. All in favor say aye. Aye. All against? No. Division. Okay. Division having been called for.
Mr. Padara?
Yes.
Mrs. Bisasa?
Yes.
Mr. Tanku?
Yes.
Ms. John?
Yes.
Dr. Munila?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
Yes.
Mr. Hussein?
Aye.
Ms. Amin?
Yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Mr. Maharaj?
Yes.
Ms. Mohit?
Yes.
Mr. Sturge?
Yes.
Dr. Bodo?
Yes.
Dr. Daulat?
Yes.
Dr. Ali?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Ms. Benjamin?
Yes.
Mr. Sobers?
Yes.
Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Dr. Sicharan?
Yes.
Mr. Kisa?
Yes.
Mr. Elder?
Yes.
Mrs. Sam?
Yes.
Mr. Narayan Singh?
Yes.
Dr. Rup Narayan?
Yes.
Dr. Gosain?
Yes.
Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Mr. Sampson?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
No.
Mrs. Beckles Robinson?
No.
Mr. Imbert?
Absolutely not.
Dr. Gatsby Dolly?
No.
Mr. Young?
No.
Mr. Scotland?
No.
Mr. Denobrega?
No.
Mr. Manning?
No.
Mr. Marcel?
No.
Mr. Devines?
No.
Mr. Birchwood?
No.
Mr. Romain?
No.
Mr. Speaker, the result of the division is 28 members voted in favor of, 12 voted against. There were no abstentions.
Honorable members, I am to report the results of the division is that 28 members voted in favor of the motion, 12 voted against, and there were 0 abstentions.
Well, as mentioned, was more or less a foregone conclusion with the majority in the parliament. Naturally, when this came into the, space of debate yesterday, I guess everyone was given the opportunity via the democratic process to deliver and to give their perspective. But ultimately, the vote, as I would have mentioned this morning, went down to the majority, and indeed the SOE is extended. Let's get some perspective from Derek Ramsamouge, political analyst, on this development. Derek, great to see you as always. Good morning and thank you for the time.
Thank you very much. Good morning to all your viewers and listeners. Nice to see you, Jason.
Same here, Derek. Let me ask you, not surprised obviously with the majority. Naturally, when something like this goes before the Speaker there in the lower house, I would imagine the government will get their way. What was interesting, the TPP members who are sitting there on the government side also voting in favor of the extension. Did they at any point vote against any of the motions put forward by the said government? Just based on your records for the year and year plus they have been in government.
I think the political configuration of the government seemed to strongly suggest when it comes to parliamentary decisions, they vote as a solid bloc alongside the UNC bloc. But this result should not surprise anyone. Here we see the political games being played amongst the different parties that are in the parliamentary chamber. What is unfortunate, however, the national interests, while debated, there is not consensus as to how we deal with the constant problem of crime. This problem did not just emerge today. This is a symptom of the governance structure of our country from the moment we got elections, and we have seen different governments come and go trying to resolve a problem that is a structural societal problem. We would expect perhaps the same kind of results of this extension of the different crime plans. There's a lot of conversation and paper written about crime plans and people wanting to implement crime plans. But to date, if you look at the data, we have had very little success in curbing the criminality in our society. The government that is elected tend to use the resources of the state to try to control a society. The fundamental issue we have is the structure of inequity and a lack of discipline within our society from the community level go right up to the corporate level. So putting more guns on the street, arresting street criminals does not address the institutionalization of criminal activity by years of a type of behavioral practice.
Understood. And let me ask you, as it pertains to the conduct of our parliamentarians and the banter, which would have always been there. It's always been a tense space. It's not a place, it's not kindergarten. There's no bouncy castle in the parliament, so it's not child's play. But what's your perspective on the tone, the tenor, the utterances of some of our parliamentarians in the House and more so outside of the parliament?
You have a fair amount of criticism and a lack of practical solutions. The issue is people are dying. The issue is our families are living in a constant fear. This has not been reduced regardless of the mechanisms being put forward. So we have to ask ourselves, what is wrong with intergenerational values that exist? And we don't have leadership in the country that basically said, this is how we're going to do it. You look at what we see occurring. How safe will our society feel? You know, people talk about places like Singapore, and people talk like different countries in Central America, where you deal with criminality hands-on. We have a very soft approach. We deal with things after the fact, not before the fact. And therefore, notwithstanding all the money spent on education over the 5 odd decades of any government that we've seen in Trinidad, we have no sense of basically national pride or discipline. And you cannot force people to have discipline if they don't inherently believe that they have an obligation to do the right thing.
So you're talking here more about consequences based on other jurisdictions where chances are you do the wrong thing, you will have to answer. You're suggesting here that our structure, in essence, it enables sometimes the bad behavior that we see from our leaders and citizens.
Well, this line about this is Trinidad and this is how Trini do it, right, has resulted in caskets and bodies being burnt. And we must recognize that the criminality in this society exists at different levels, from the way people drive on the street, from the way they cut into the lines of the public service, the way people park, and it's inherent because we seem to have, over decades, accept a sense of what we can do and get away with. And I'm sorry, the lawmakers seem to have lost public trust of the nation. They tend to have a position by their supporters, but outside of that, if you're a UNC supporter, you say everything is fine. If you're a PLM supporter, you criticize. But where is the national conversation as to how we move forward? We have this bandage approach to our problems, to our political sores. And therefore, what we saw yesterday should not surprise anyone, of refusal by either party to have a proper debate and to try to find a solution. We are going to be back in the same place 90 days from now, and we're going to have the further ongoing perennial state of emergency because the government don't seem to understand how to use the resources of the state to transform our society. Remember, the election campaign focused on the whole notion of security in the country, as well as the economic performance of our resources. Those problems are still there, and we are quickly seeing that political rhetoric will not resolve the structural problems we are facing.
Let me ask, based on your research and when you look at the empiricals, is there any jurisdiction you could lean to, or you could use an example where there was an extended state of emergency, an emergency that would have lasted, let's say, a year, more than a year? And if so, what result came out of that? Is there any comparison at this point in time?
The closest we may have is in the CARICOM country of Jamaica, where there were different types of state emergencies in very, very specific hotspots. While it basically had some level of success, the societal challenge still remained the same. Because when you remove the legal framework from those areas, what is the natural behavior? And that's what we have to come down to. What is the natural behavior or consequence that people are aware that they have to change how they live? First within their families, within the communities, and then within the urban and rural areas. Criminality has migrated in the country, where hotspots now drive out for criminal opportunity. And that's the biggest fear that we face.
You know, I want to ask you, Derek, something that transpired yesterday in the Parliament, and it's on the front page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. So, again, we're hearing talk of the big fish, and the big fish to be be on standby. We are coming for you for white-collar criminals. I think the word 1% would have been used in the House. What's your take on that development? Is this lip service, or do you believe the government, they got the fortitude to really go after the white-collar criminals and those who rob us with the pen as opposed to the gun?
That's a laughing dog. Remember, when you drive your car, you will hear a dog yapping at your car tires. And when you stop, the dog does not know what to do and turn around and run away. We have seen this big fish approach where we are hearing who is responsible and you lay claim. But the reality is your legal framework or the legal rigor required is yet to be seen. You look at white-collar criminality. We are a gang society. Either the gangs on the streets or the gangs in the banks or the gangs in the boardroom, in which exploitation and entitlement has become the order of the day. And I want to caution, I just recently, as I mentioned, you came back from Haiti. And when you have a society completely destroyed, where you have agents of security line up with corporate interests, line up with basically the people who don't have a job and the only service they have is to put down a rock, so to speak. When that occurs in your country for 5, 10 years, for a decade, you are going to have an ungovernable society. And what we need is a level of truth. Why does the state, regardless of the government, feel so insecure to permanently clean up activities of money laundering, activities of gun mobilization, activities of people killing each other for drugs? It is astounding when you look at the billions of dollars spent on security, and when you look at the delay of actually implementing justice. We have to ask ourselves, is this more hot air, right? What are we seeing? How much young money from the corporations have entered the political system? And we're seeing the effects of that when it comes to public procurement of state contracts, right? You're not fooling anyone. Parliament, the people are quickly losing confidence in the parliament procedures and conversations because it feels as though you're still running a political campaign as opposed to dealing with the governance of our society.
Interesting. And, you know, I'm thinking here, if indeed there is this approach to tackle white-collar criminals and those within the space, I think, you know, we need to have, whenever we talk again, Derek, and I hope that soon, a deeper conversation on campaign finance reform and for folks to be very transparent as to where the funds are coming in to finance these elaborate campaigns on both sides of the divide. So with that, we will wrap things up. Derek, thank you as always. Great to have you back in one piece, and let's touch base soon.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Let's all be safe.
Derek Ramsamouche, political analyst, treating with the SOE extension, very critical and I mean, a beating, as it were, via his words for those in governance and the system overall, and he's actually calling for better. Derek Ramsamouche there touching base. Up next, Police and You, ASP Russell joins me live on set to treat with a very important talking point. See you soon.
Love eating spicy food, but soon after, that familiar discomfort begins. Heartburn, acid reflux, and bloating. Introducing Peptica Gel, formulated with aluminum hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide, and simethicone to help neutralize excess acid. It's sugar-free with no chalky aftertaste and a pleasant orange flavor. Peptica Gel works fast to relieve heartburn, acid reflux, gas, and bloating, so you can feel comfortable again and get back to enjoying life. Peptica Gel, get the relief you need today. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
At Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center, we're all about time. In fact, once you check in, there's no time to lose. Reconnect with a little family time. Make a splash with some pool time. Spend some treasured quality time. Or just immerse yourself in some quiet time. Indulge your senses at dinner time. We even have the perfect venue when it's your celebration time. So it's high time you visit Cruise In. Choose our day pass or call 607-4000 to make your dinner or hotel reservations or to find out more about our event spaces. Take a time out at Cruise In Hotel and Yachting Center.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on CNC3 and start your wellness journey today.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
ESP Russell joins me for a very important conversation this morning for the police and you, and we're going to treat this morning with gang violence and some tips for parents. A very relevant discussion in the current climate that is Trinidad and Tobago and the way we treat especially our young people. As always, officer, thanks for being here in person. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Williams. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. On behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Deputy Commissioners, Assistant Commissioners, and First and Second Division Officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. You know, SP Russell, I want to talk to you on a real personal level this morning because you would have established all of us here in the audience that you grew up in an area that many might have deemed troublesome, as it were, and you would have made certain decisions. I want to ask you, as it pertains to those decisions, to walk the straight and narrow, to not go down a particular path. What was that checks and balance in your life that gave you the impetus, the encouragement, the drive to do the right thing? Because I find so many young people attracted to gang culture and gang life, but then there are others who go a different direction. So I just want to ask you in terms of your personal checks and balance that made you walk away from that particular life. I think the two key factors for me was God. I think my mother, my aunts and them, they really prayed for me. And my mother never gave up. I came from a single parent home, so when she goes to work, I was my own man. And I would go on the corner and I would take the little smoke at times. Yeah, I did that. Partake in the little liquor at times. One of the things I always talk about that saved me, though, you see, taking a community to raise a child. One of the neighbors, they saw me in my activities with the guys on the corner, and they told my mother. How old you was at the time? 14, between that 13 to 15 zone, when you start to feel yourself. And I never forget how my mother reacted. I got the curtail of my life, coupled with the punishment of my life. And when it comes to her family, after she done deal with it, she had to call your aunt and them now and tell your aunt and them what you do. And then them, you had to tell them why you do that.
So there was a level of a checks and balance. You felt embarrassed in that moment?
Yes, but there was the family involvement, Trinidad and Tobago. There was the community involvement. There was the love that was shown. I care about you. I want you to do the right thing. And eventually, when you train a child in the ways, the child did not depart. So when I
finished secondary school, she said, oh yeah, man, no. So she sent me away for a little bit, and when I came back to Trinidad, the car turned right when it came out of Piarco to head east. Instead of coming back to Port of Spain, she said, I need to move you out of the environment. And the rest was history. At 18 years, I enlisted in Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Wow. And
19 met me training.
Wow. And I really wanted to kind of get that perspective because, again, you could have made different decisions in your life. You could have been a different Russell today. And you went down a particular pathway. There was a checks and balance. And I think I had an idea that was going to be a story because it was very similar for me. I really wasn't on the block per se. I was just very much into sports, but there was a part of me never wanted to bring a level of shame to my mom, who was also grew up in a single parent home. And I told myself, nah, too much sacrifice and hard work going on here. I need to assist as opposed to bring stress and put further complications to already complicated situation. I've said all that to ask, what's going on at this point in time? How could we bring the young people back into the straight and narrow? What could be done from a community level, from a society level, from governance, from even on a TTPS level? Because a lot of young people are attracted to gang culture and gang life.
Yeah, and the problem stems from in the home a lot of the times. They lack that sense of love, that sense of belonging, that sense of worthiness, that you mean something. They lack that self-worth. There's a financial pressure attached to it a lot of the times where you are in a home that they cannot give you the nice sneakers and the nice phones that your friends have. Nobody's ever wrong, but the parents, the providers, they're looking for that dollar, so you are forced to raise yourself. So sometimes you may or may not have things to eat. You may or may not have something to drink. You may or may not have a sneakers. You may or may not have clothes. And they gravitate towards the gang because the gang shows them that so-called love, that belonging that they are looking for, that togetherness that they are looking for. So they want to be part of that because, of course, peer pressure and social media is a real serious issue now. And I hope Trinidad is looking at the trend where many countries in the first world and now putting bans on social media for children under the age of 16. So I hope we are following suit and we are looking on as well. And these amalgamation of issues, sometimes it's the community that you're in. You're so prone to seeing violence that you think that is the only way they are persons who what we call they are making home jail. They never left their areas. They need a sneakers, they send somebody in Port of Spain to buy the sneakers and bring it back for them. So we, as parents, have to really sit with our children, show them that love, pray with them, pray for them, have a meal with them, go out with them, show them a different Trinidad and Tobago, because Trinidad and Tobago is indeed a lovely place. And we have to understand as by the government, that the systems that are put into place must have not only check and balances, but continuous assessment, reassessment, and analysis so that we could improve and have something going forward. When you look at programs and psychologists, we're talking about getting rid of that gang culture takes a whole generation.
I saw recently where gangs, or at least people insinuating or suggesting that they were part of gangs, were trying to bring or broker some kind of peace treaty and have a peace walk. And I saw it was dismantled and dismissed by the TTPS. What's your understanding of that particular development? And is that something that, if gangs upon themselves take up the particular mantle to say, let's put down the arms, let's stop the fighting, why is that not encouraged?
Well, Mr. Williams, no, that is not encouraged. You could have peace without doing an illegal march. No, sir? You could have if we so at peace, then invite all the gang members and the police. Let's come in one spot. If we so peaceful, and have a conversation. Most of the times, those truce, or what they so-called truce, it tend to be fickle. There are still underlying tensions, conflicts, and risks within the different organizations of the different gangs. Because it's like, people think it's a game where I want to use the bathroom, so I pause it. But if you kill my friend, because you say peace, I must not do anything. So we have to be careful and always put systems in place to mitigate any risk of these things flaring up. Mr. Williams, 2 men pelting a bottle, 2 men pelting bottles could be a gang, you know.
I want to ask you, as it pertains to, and the time that remains, the parents looking on. So your mom would have received information, intelligence that you was on the block. She would have intervened, and she was stern with the intervention and changed the course of your life. What's your advice to the parents looking on this morning who suspect their son, their daughter, is part of a gang, they're involved in gang activity, they're bringing home items that they know they didn't purchase?
Definitely.
They see new sneakers, they see a new phone, they're wondering where it's coming from.
Yeah.
What's your advice to that parent this morning?
And I'm happy that you touched on that, because these are the signs that we ask parents to look for: changes in behavior, changes in attitude, fluctuation in the grades, withdrawal from family functions and family activities. What we ask in the parents is to start showing that love, start being interested, go in the school, find out what is going on, ask to meet your son's friends. If you see that your son's friends or your daughter's friends are changing and it's older persons, meet their parents, find out who they are. Why are they lying with all these older people? What is their influence on your child? We are asking to just show the children that love. Of course, counseling is always good. We have the victim and support unit, the victim witness and support unit in the TTPS. We also offer counseling as well. And there is the Gang Conflict Resolution Center in St. Joseph that we could go there and really, I don't know everybody's pockets, but there are interventions that would cost you nothing but time.
If a parent decides to put the child out, could the parent be in some problems? Because again, this is a minor. If the child is not taking instructions, they are not adhering to a curfew, they literally at 14, 15 decide they're a big man. Really fast in the couple seconds that remain, could the parent be in problems if the parent just throw up their hands and give up? What happens in that regard?
Parents, we would advise the parent not to put them out because they are indeed a minor, and under the law, you are that custodian and that main caregiver for that child. You can go to the children's court and activate certain processes that are there for you for when children are, taking that road. They have counseling, they have social workers, they have psychologists, they have a lot of trained and professional persons there that can assist, and at no cost.
Don't give up, basically.
So I am saying don't give up.
Yeah, we can't. And, again, we want to keep this conversation going because this is a most relevant and pertinent conversation based on the time and the realities and what we're seeing. So, SP Russell, you have a safe one today, and God spare we touch base again next week.
Okay, thank you very much. You have a good day as well. Have a good day, Trinidad and Tobago. It's raining. Let's take our time on the nation's road.
That's right. We get ready for the 7 a.m. news update. Much more after 7. That's a...
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Have yourself a great investment week by viewing The Boss Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view The Boss Report. CNC3, covering your world.
Time Check, brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program.
Good morning, I'm Peter Christopher with headline news on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has recommitted her government's intention to work with maxi-taxi operators to resolve their issues. On June 1st, several maxi-taxi drivers boycotted services to demand government action on restrictive speed limits, illegal PH competition, outstanding school transfer debts, and rising crime. A 3-day planned protest was eventually reduced to under 2 days. Speaking in Parliament on Wednesday, Prasad Bisessa sympathized with the drivers, who she called decent, hard-working people, and promised to work with them.
The Minister of Transport, as he has done over the last year, will continue to work, consult and engage all stakeholders involved in our national transportation services in the national interest. For 10 years, the former administration was tone deaf. They refused any meaningful dialogue with stakeholders.
Energy Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal is dismissing opposition criticism over the government's handling of energy negotiations with Venezuela, insisting that active discussions remain ongoing. The energy minister maintains that Trinidad and Tobago continues to work closely with major energy stakeholders to advance cross-border gas projects. Speaking during debate on the Finance Bill 2026 on Wednesday, Dr. Munilal responded directly to concerns raised by former Prime Minister and former Energy Minister Stuart Young. Young accused the government of failing to engage meaningfully with Venezuelan authorities on matters critical to this country's energy future. Dr. Munilal rejected suggestions that the government was absent from the process.
We are working with our partners, and every single week we get a report. And in this case, it is our legacy partners, BP and Shell, others as well, but BP and Shell. We are working with them. NGC is working with them and with the officials in Venezuela. Again, this notion, and I think it's cultural, maybe politically cultural, that somehow you have to board a jumbo plane, a jet plane, and land in some country and take out 25 pictures.
Stay tuned for another news update at the top of the hour and for comprehensive coverage in our midday news and major newscast at 7 p.m. on CNC3.
Behavioral change consultant Johanse Ayodike joins me for the second hour of our Thursday program, and in keeping with the tradition, we always bring thought-provoking topics to the forefront and to the table. Today we're asking, how do you take revenge? Well, let me tell you, Johanse, good morning, as always, welcome. And this one is very interesting because everyone deals with revenge so different. For me, I could tell you offhand, I take revenge by trying to be the best person I can be and be happy, because they can't control that. That's my way. I gonna get back to you by being my best. I gonna flaunt it in your face, you know, but when you see me, you ought to tighten up yourself, and I normal.
Sure you wouldn't flaunt it in the face?
No, I wouldn't flaunt it in the face.
But you want them to see it, though?
No, I mean, they will see it. Most times they see it because what I do is very public. Right. So they would see, but generally, I know there are people who try to get back at folks, and you have to. I mean, they have some people that really want to get back at them
if you're being honest.
Yeah, but right? I find that stigma a dark place, boy, you want to say, boy, and that is why I be kind of so cautious about this thing called revenge, because revenge could take you in a real dark place, you know, and you could end up doing stuff that totally out of character. But you know, that's my intro on it. I wanna get your take.
And it's a good intro because the dictionary meaning of revenge is inflicting punishment or harm on someone or something that you think do you wrong or is a slight. And the process is to get even. Now I'm bringing it from a mental health perspective because there's a behavioral pattern called revenge sleep procrastination.
What's that now?
So revenge sleep procrastination. So you procrastinate, which means you delay going to sleep or going to bed because you want to take revenge for the day that you wish you had that you didn't get. So many of us, we go through the day doing things we don't really want to do. So what that causes is pent-up energy inside of us. So when everybody gone and sleep, or I have some time to myself now, I'm taking back revenge by staying up and doing what I really want to do. Now, I use the word revenge because you say take it to a dark place. Many times when we take revenge, we just stay up too late, and then you end up ruining it the next day. But the thing is, you want to do it because I'm tired of whole day, my boss make me do this, or I had to do this because I had children, I had to do this because I didn't really want to do this. But I have to take back revenge. Now, I'm using the sleep procrastination, and I'm sure plenty of people could relate to what I'm saying. But that revenge, it also comes in different forms. So you have some people who take revenge by eating too much, right? Because the see, the thing is, the evening out is I gain to do whatever I want. Some people go in the casino and spend too much money. Some people smoke too much. Because the point is that as humans, for the most part, we want to do whatever we want to do, you know. But when we don't get to do it, it has caused distress.
So you're suggesting that some people take revenge by almost self. Come like you could, you're damaging yourself.
It's Satan. That's what it is. Because nothing wrong with taking a drink, nothing wrong with going to a party, nothing wrong with eating, nothing wrong with doing these things in a certain moderation, right? But when it's reached a stage where I don't really care, you know, I just do whatever I want, you're taking back revenge for that feeling of being suppressed from before.
That's interesting, though, because I always thought revenge as a kind of mindset to go at the source or the person that would have caused you harm, but there are people who self-inflicted, I guess, harm. Wow, interesting. Yeah, because there are people who cut themselves on things.
Correct. If you understand where I come from, because sometimes the source of the harm or the pain we can't get to. Because what you're going to do, you're going to beat up your boss. What you're going to do, you're going to beat up the principal of the school. I mean, these days, But if you understand what I'm saying, the source, sometimes we can't get to the source, or we don't want to go to the source. So therefore, we have to redirect the energy, and sometimes that revenge is on yourself.
So what about those who, wow, you know, you're so interesting with this, because to the person in a job where they've been belittled, people are talking down to them, and you have to almost kind of keep it in, and then you go home now and you let it out on your spouse and your children. In a way, come like where you can't tell the boss, you're telling them. So that in a way, some people's behavior is based on a reaction. It's a reaction to something that's going on, and the revenge is being taken out on somebody else.
And all of us, because of that pent-up energy, we take revenge in some way. And I say that too, even for people viewing, is to look to see where you're trying to even things out.
Would you say that's why we have so many instances of road rage? Because up to 2 days ago, I watching a man cussing an next man on the road, and I'm saying that really can't be, that level of curse and venom is not so much for the bad drive. I'm thinking that is something pent up in the man, and he's using the bad drive as a means to let the steam out on this. Now, probably the bad drive, he got a bad drive, but I can't see somebody getting on so bad for drive. Road rage is a hell of a thing, you know.
Jason, let me tell you something, right? I don't have all the exact stats, but I'm a citizen of this country, right? Plenty people on the edge, you know.
Well, you're feeling it, Johan. Say you're feeling it right now. It is something that you could feel on the ground.
Right. And that revenge manifests itself in a different way because we all different, right? Sometimes we see certain types of crime happen, and you're wondering how somebody could do that. What it is they really thinking? Now, revenge is either you're inflicting that pain either on yourself or you're inflicting it on somebody else. Now, unfortunately, many times you don't direct it where it's supposed to be, but it happens that way, right? I could tell you, even in my previous stints and doing things in prisons and with YTRC and things like that, when you talk, a lot of times there's suppression. This person reminds me of this person sometimes. This person looked like my grandmother who used to XYZ. This person looked like my husband or my brother who used to XYZ. A lot of times is that suppression, because when you suppress, what happens is that pent up, so you have to even it out in some way. And that is inevitable, You cannot do it.
What's your advice for somebody in that state of darkness right now, planning and plotting a revenge, plotting a comeback, and that plot involves probably getting rid of someone or bringing serious damage to them? What's your advice on that person who is in a premeditated state at this point in time, plotting some kind of revenge?
Now, I'll give two pieces of advice, because when in the premeditated state, sometimes there's a rough stage to even get through with talk, right? But one, the action you're going to perform, whether it is to yourself or somebody else, most times will be to your detriment. Most times. And whatever that person or persons did to you, even though you didn't deserve whatever it is, or you may not have deserved what it is, it's here you say, my revenge is I coming out better, I looking better, I going to the gym and look good if that person didn't like me. I go in and study and make more money to show them. You could direct it, because it could have bad mind too. You know, the bad mind is I am more successful. The bad mind is I am better than, not necessarily inflicting something on somebody or myself, but you could direct it in a way that you better. Even if you just want to look good to burn the person, if you understand, right? But the point is you could direct it in a way that still could help you, because when you do that action of revenge, sometimes it's hard to reverse. Because when you cut yourself, you have this scar. If you hurt somebody, you could get arrested. You could spoil your life forever because of that moment of revenge, or even sometimes binge. You know, sometimes we binge eat, we binge drink. That is a form of revenge also, again, to do whatever I want.
Do you think pop culture, and especially movies, would have distorted our whole concept of revenge? Because most of the plots, the laws of a plot in action film, you have your protagonist, the antagonist, good guy, bad guy, something happened to the good guy plot, and to the end, they get revenge, they kill off the bad guy, and then the movie comes to an end. We never see what happens after the good guy gets the bad guy, and what healing the good guy might have to go through. If anybody from the bad guy side come back for the good guy, we don't know. You know, that's just been Hollywood's programming. Good guy, bad guy end up in a tight spot, bad guy all on top, ha ha ha, and the good guy come out of the trenches, crawl out, come to a level now, and eventually get him on at the end, credits roll, movie done, everybody going home happy.
Perfect, because in real life, we have to deal with the consequences of our actions. Everybody, right? Even if you do something as a child, and you may say as a child I was responsible, if you do something, you have to defend it, and it goes with you. And as adults, sometimes it's difficult to manage yourself. So I'm not saying you're going to be perfect, but when we take a little more intention about living a life that is really the life we want to live, again, I ain't going perfect, and it might be for today, for tomorrow, but at least start to do things in a way that you want to do it. So if you're in a job, and I would say this all the time, if you're in a job that you don't like, you may not be able to leave tomorrow, but start doing something to qualify to do something else. If you're in a relationship, talk to the person and let the person know what is going on, whether it's romantic, whether it's family, whatever it is. Because when we keep it inside, it is never disappear. It have to come out. And when it come out after being held for so long, it's like a dam. When the dam bursts, you can't really control the water, you know.
What about those who carry a particular load or carry a particular grievance for something that they were not even involved in? And we're just talking here now on family issues and generations that are talking for something that granny and grandpa do down back in the day, and there is a sense of revenge, and you have to get back at them, and there's a hostility that exists decades in the making that you were no part of. What's your advice in that scenario?
It already happened, you know. It's already gone, and bringing something that no longer exists in the present is actually unhealthy, because it's like imagination. Yes, that thing may happen, but you wasn't directed. It don't even exist anymore. So bringing it in the present now is actually bringing something that's not real into the present. And then you hold it, and then maybe your children pick it up, and so forth and so on. Holding on to things, even though we might say it's moving forward, you're really walking forward with a chain and a ball on your hand. So you're moving, you know, but you're becoming heavier and heavier. So everything we hold on to makes us become heavy.
You answer, you have the final say.
Nation, you may not be able to live the exact life you want, but don't suppress what's inside of you. Let it out, even if it is in a healthy way. Don't make life complicated, because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
You want to say, touching base this morning, really amazing and insightful conversation as per usual. Mental health matters. God spare, we'll do it again next week, Thursday, you want to say. I'm so happy because a great friend, someone who I truly admire. We go back so many years. We will not see how many to age ourselves, but Ardine Sergio joins me next. She is the project lead at the Cropper Foundation, and we're going to give you details regarding a scholarship program Ardeen joins me live. She's next.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Lights up, stadium glow, whole Caribbean ready, feed the show. Flags high, whole place loud, World Cup fever inside the crowd. Brazil fire, Argentina flame, Spain and Portugal run the game. France come strong, Germany rise, every nation under one sky.
Kingston wear them colors high, Port of Spain set the night on fire, trash down chanting side by side.
Whole Caribbean worldwide, raise your flag now, hands to the sky now, every screen worldwide now. Feel the pressure rise now. Feel the rush.
Live the sport.
Feel the rush.
Live the sport.
Feel the rush.
Live the sport.
Tune in to Betterments with host Space, Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. for a program that educates and is solution-based. Space tackles the issues that matter to you, providing a platform to speak your mind and find solutions. That's Betterments with Base, with a focus on education and resolution. This is all about making things better for you. So if you want to make a difference and have your voice heard, tune into Freedom 106.5 FM and join us for Betterments with Base, Monday through Thursday from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Better for you. Only on Freedom 106.5 FM, where we believe that your voice matters.
Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today.
Volleyball filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Really happy to get some details regarding a scholarship program. I welcome on set Ardeen Sojo. Ardeen is, to me, a consummate professional, one of my colleagues, someone I always enjoy listening to, and it's a joy to have you on the set this morning, Ardeen. I wouldn't say how many years we go back. You know?
I know, a long time. I was wearing a school uniform.
I was in khaki pants, right? So since school days, so happy for you and so proud of everything you've done so far, Ardeen.
And ditto, I feel the same way, Jason. It's so good to be here with you in this capacity. I think this is the first time I'm joining you in studio. Usually I'm online.
Yes, we would have done a Zoom.
Yes.
So I'm really happy you took the time. We're speaking about Zoom. One of your colleagues, we have to say kudos to the great work being done by Kamala Rampersad de Silva. She is the CEO of the Caribbean Cooperative Governance Institute. Ms. Rampersad de Silva, good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning. It's the Caribbean Corporate Governance Institute. Well, thank you.
That's right.
I'm happy
That's
to
right.
be here this morning.
Great. And of course, Ardeen, you are project lead for the Crapper Foundation. Let me just ask you, Ardeen, and of course, I'll come to you in a few, Ms. Rampersad de Silva. Walk me through this amalgamation, this coming together, and what this coming together is bringing to the table via the scholarship program.
Sure. So, you know, the Cropper Foundation is a 25-year-old NGO that's been involved in sustainable development and advocating for that in the Caribbean, founded by John and Angela Cropper, well, 25 years ago. And one of the tenets of the approach of the Cropper Foundation has been collaboration within civil society, collaboration with our other stakeholders in society, whether that's government and other independent actors, international actors as well. And so that is what really facilitated this collaboration with CCGI in the development of what we're calling the micro-credential scholarships. And all of this is made possible through a project funded by the European Union called Ignite CSOs. And it's aimed at strengthening civil society, the way we operate, in a more transparent and accountable fashion, as well as engaging with our state partners who are responsible for the regulatory framework that enables, or sometimes does not, as it should, the environment in which we operate. Yeah, so I remember not too long ago you had Mtima Solwazi on talking about the deregistration issue. And so that is part of what we've been dealing with through this project. You know, how do we work with the state so that there's greater understanding about how organizations like ours, civil society, NPOs, NGOs, you know, we're called a number of things, but how does civil society operate within a regulatory framework that sometimes is not as enabling as we would like it to be. But while we shine the light on, let's say, the government in this instance, we also turn that light internally to reflect on ourselves and how we're operating, what kind of standards are we using to measure ourselves. And so working with folks like the CCGI, like the Human Resource Management Association of Trinidad and Tobago, we were able to come up with some courses that help to build capacity for the sector, and they're called micro-credentials for that reason. They're not academic courses that, you know, require a lot of time and lots of energy, but it is focused and is very pertinent to our rules within NGOs.
Let me bring the CEO of the CCGI into the conversation, and let me ask you directly, Ms. Rampersad De Silva, who's your target audience? Who is this for? Walk me through that particular game plan, as it were.
Sure, thank you. And good morning to you and your audience. I'm really happy to be able to join you here online and to speak about this really wonderful program. When we were approached by Viniapuan and the Cropper Foundation, we immediately said yes to this project because the target audience are all those people who volunteer their times to serve on nonprofit boards. But in serving on those boards, very often they are not aware of what their governance function is to serve on the board, as opposed to their passion for wanting to achieve whatever the objective of the organization is. And so frequently you find them serving both as directors of the nonprofit organization, but they're also the ones with their feet on the ground doing all the everyday work and so. And that at times can put the organization at risk, because when you confuse your governance role from the operational function, then sometimes it means that there's no one with their eyes on oversight and governance of the organization and long-term outcomes.
Understood.
So they're our target audience. Understood.
Well said. You know, Adi, and probably you could also chime in, CEO. How valuable is the certification for the individual and even more so the organization?
Right, so it is a recognized certificate when you're dealing with folks like the CCGI, who are recognized regionally and internationally. You know that the certificate is coming from a credible organization who has lots of experience delivering this type of training. What I want to say is that the certificates are coming directly from the POs, the professional organizations, not from the Cropper Foundation. So you get a certificate that says Caribbean Corporate Governance Institute, Human Resources Management Association of Trinidad and Tobago. And so these are recognized bodies who operate by using very high standards also. And the idea is that when you go to a funder to say, yes, you know, we want to apply for this grant, and they ask to see, well, evidence of how you are able to manage the money transparently, how you're able to manage a project, for instance, we want to be able to say, well, we have some training in this. Our staff has been trained. Our organization has benefited from this capacity building of its members.
Excellent. Ms. Rampersad Silva, why should people act now?
Well, there's never a better time than now to do what you need to do. And there are hundreds of these organizations that are functioning in Trinidad and Tobago, many of them with really, really great missions, but they're not able to focus and understand why they're not achieving the vision that they started with. And sometimes their passion burn out as a result. So getting that understanding as to how to properly structure and govern your organization, there's never a better time.
Well said, Kamla.
And I would, sorry, if I could just add to what Kamla has said and say that the opportunity actually expires by the 20th of June. So there is a deadline to take advantage of the free opportunity because it is entirely free.
That's right. And, you know, as we look to wrap things up, I want to say thank you so much to Kamla Rampersad Silva, CEO of the CCGI. Ready, fast, Ardeen, as we wrap things up in the seconds that remain, how does one register?
Sure. So you go to CSOGO.org/scholarship/ I think it's up on the screen, and you sign up for any of the courses you want to do. You can do all three if you want. The courses are not meant to take more than 4 hours long, but you know, it's up to how you focus and how much time you may need. So you can get at least one done between now and the 20th of June.
Ladies, thank you so much, Ardeen.
If I may say, Jason, they can also email us at info@caribbeangovernance.org. We'll share that information with the Crapper Foundation because we realize the urgency of getting it done within the period.
Well
and
said.
Therefore, that too is an opportunity to reach us.
Thanks for that. And congrats in advance. Great initiative. And I know many will take the opportunity. Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ardeen, yes, great to see you.
Yes, same here.
I'm going to make some way for Ian. He's stepping in next. But before Ian gives us that deep dive for the morning shot with sport, let's check in with Sagoni via our weather update. Godspeed, I'm back for you tomorrow.
Hi there, I'm Sigoni Mohammed with your daily dose of weather. This week brought back-to-back tropical wave activity, and we're tracking another tropical wave with its associated moisture and instability that is expected to make the weather a little more active across the island. So continuing from the overnight and pre-dawn period and extending through much of this morning into the early afternoon, moisture associated with the tropical wave will become more influential. That means partly cloudy to cloudy, slightly hazy and breezy conditions with occasional light to moderate showers will be moving across the islands. There is also a low to medium chance of heavier showers and isolated thunderstorms, especially during the mid-morning hours, and this is for parts of Tobago, Arima, and even southern Trinidad. Now, should heavier showers or thunderstorms develop, you've got to be prepared for gusty winds, localized street flooding, reduced visibility, and landslips in areas so prone. Now, for those of you heading to the beaches, seas do remain moderate. Wave heights are fluctuating between 1.0 and 2.5 meters, but conditions can become occasionally choppy in and around showers. And here's something you should know. With new moon coming up this weekend, it means that spring tides are in effect. So sea bathers, fishermen, and all other marine interests, you are advised to exercise caution, especially around your high tide times and in nearshore activities. Overall, umbrellas on hand, and be safe when commuting and conducting your daily activities on and offshore. That's a look at the forecast. That's it from me.
At Modern Caribbean Enterprises Limited, we are making this Father's Day extra special. Enjoy special discounts, free giveaways, plus $100 off detox spa session. Experience our infrared ultrasonic blanket. Turn back the clock with our LED non-surgical facelift that reduces the signs of aging. Not sure what dad will like most? Our gift certificates can help him choose his perfect gift. Visit us today and celebrate the fathers, grandfathers,